Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Caithness Amateur Dram Antique Society tasting. And tonight I'm going to taste and review a new whiskey to me. It's a Strathearn 6-year-old, and this one is the Douglas Laing private stock Strathearn 6-year-old, bottled at 56.6%. It's a little bottle, you can see. It's a 200 milliliter bottle. Uh, I went on Douglas Laing's website and I was looking for a Strathearn to get a taste of it because it's a new distillery to me. And I found that there was an inaugural release and a second batch of the inaugural release, but they are about £85 a bottle and bottled at 50% ABV, which I thought was a little on the high side for an unknown distillery to me. So I noticed that they had these little bottles on the Douglas Laing website, private stock bottles, and they were originally £60, but they've been reduced to £30 a bottle. And this one is from a quarter cask and is one of 125 bottles, which by my reckoning means that they've had 25 litres from the quarter cask. So quarter cask is about 50 litres, so it must have been a heck of a leaky cask for a 6-year-old whiskey to produce only 25. So unless, of course, they used the rest for vatting into their core range. I know that they do use about 32 of these quarter casks for their inaugural release. Variety cask. This one, I think, is almost certainly a sherry cask, just based on the colour of a 6-year-old whiskey. It's non-coloured, non-chill filtered, and it does say so on the label. And so a little bit about Strathearn Distillery. Strathearn, they say that they guarantee that every batch of whiskey produced from its tiny stills will be unique. Some will be double distilled, some triple, using a mixture of peated and unpeated malt, as well as a variety of 50-litre casks, including sherry, rum, and bourbon. Strathearn is Scotland's tiniest distillery and started operation in 2013. It's located in the village of Methven, which is close to Crieff in Highland Perthshire, and it occupies a set of former farm buildings. So its production comes from an 800 litre wash still and a spirit still with a 400 litre charge. So these are tiny, and even the casks are tiny, only holding 50 litres when the industry standard is 200 litres. Flexibility has been the main aim of the owners, and in common with other of these new craft startups, it produces gin and rum as well as whiskey, although that has been offloaded. Because in October 2019 it was announced that independent bottler Douglas Laing & Co., who had been looking for a distillery, probably a larger one than this, but they had acquired Strathearn outright for an undisclosed sum, making it their first distillery acquisition. The Strathearn's gin and rum products will still be available under the ownership of a new business called the Whisky Garden Limited. And so they say that from one of Scotland's smallest distilleries comes one of the country's mightiest malts, prioritising flavour over alcohol yield. Strathearn is one, if not the only distillery to still use Maris Otter malt, which produces a deliciously creamy malty new make spirit. Crafted to perfection, our spirit is matured in the finest first fill ex-bourbon, wine, port, and sherry casks, from which it takes on an immensely rich and refined flavour. And they'll go on to say that every drop of Strathearn single malt whisky is genuinely handcrafted. Our malted barley is carried by hand into the distillery and mixed with local Highland water in one of Scotland's smallest mash tuns. After an unusually long fermentation of 144 hours, the liquid is distilled in a slow and deliberate way. Our spirit cut points are determined by taste, not alcohol strength, before being hand-filled into specially selected casks and left to slumber until the spirit is matured to perfection. So this whisky we're having tonight is not the inaugural release. This is from Douglas Lang's private stock. This one, I think it says 2017 on the label. I think that's when it was distilled. So it was bottled in 2023 or 2024, I suspect. So it's charged from 1/4 cask, personally selected by Cara Lang. This private stock, Strathearn 6-year-old, was bottled directly from the Douglas Lang family's personal collection. It's offered proudly at natural cask strength and is presented exactly as the distiller intended, without added colour or chill filtration, and at natural cask strength of 56.6%. I do notice when you open it, it's got a heavy wax seal on top, and that got me excited, but it is a rubber stopper for the bottle. So let's see what we have here. It's very, very dark. It's almost PX dark. And you can see that darkness there. Maybe a charred cask, of course. STR. Now, I know they say they'll use peated or unpeated barley. I do get a hint of smoke on this. It's got nice tears. This is cask strength. It's got lovely, viscous, thick tears on this one. And you get juicy red berries. And that's followed by mocha and a barley sweetness. Oak with a bit of pineapple and mango. But it's quite bready and oaky. Lots of banana bread and nutmeg. And I would say that they are the dominant notes to start with. There's some toasted oak, painted wood, and there's a faint carpet underlay and dried apple. And then it gets more bready and oaky aromas. It's sort of between some sort of middle-aged rum agricole. It's worth, if you ever get the chance, to sample the type of rum, if you ever taste a rum finished whiskey, to taste the rum type that the whiskey was finished in. So rum agricole is different from cane sugar rum. It's got a sort of straight bourbon and fresh estate cognac nose. It's a dazzlingly cakey, malty whiskey. I'll try them out. And that is thick and fulsome. Treacle. And that's interlaced with baking spice and charred oak. And honey sweet with just a prickle. You can taste the red fruit, the mint, pink grapefruit, but you also get a bit of mango and peach. And then the spices kick in with a vengeance. Cloves, black pepper, cinnamon, and mint. It becomes a bit dry, tiny citrus, and even tinier herbs. And there's so many variations on ginger and the usual turmeric and cinnamon. And on the finish, you get a faint hint of smoke lingering alongside autumn fruits and brown sugar, dried petals and pebbles. Very long, sweet and spicy and dry, superbly jammy, candied and spicy. It's like a peppered fig jam or something like that. I'm going to try 2 mils of water in this. You know, I was intrigued by the interesting studies and the small scale processes used at this tiny distillery, and it's a very interesting. I would say this is classic malt whiskey. Give it a little whirly glass and see. I think if I left it for a bit, there would be a bit of Scotch mist would form in this. They do say a minute in the glass per years in the cask, but and that brings the water brings a creamy, milky note to the aroma, and opens things up a touch. It gets a pink mice sweets, red fruit and mint, barley sugar, and something candy-like, like Haribo bears with some citric acid, apricots and figs, some gooseberries, and some rose petals. And it's like candy on the nose. It's a classic malt. You get some ale, cakes, chocolate, tobacco, menthol, camphor, and just a little rainwater and damp chalk in the background. And with that 2 mils of water, there's no heat up front now. It's quite bready, and you get more length into it. Faintest white chocolate before a whole load of bread crusts and that crunchy, peppery sort of peaty vibe. 50% fir honey, 50% marmalade and 50% assorted oriental spices and rosewater. That's more than 100%, but it's a big whiskey. And the finish is long on sort of milk chocolate and some slightly gingered orange juice. And there's a touch of fresh turmeric in the aftertaste. This is impressive whiskey. It's very complex, very well made, and okay. So if it had been a 70cl bottle, it would have cost me £105 for a 6-year-old. I think it's very, very good. I don't think I'd go to 105 for it, but I'm certainly happy with the £30 I spent for this one. Thanks for listening.